On to our fourth example, we're going to be finding the domain of f of x is equal to 1 over x squared minus 1. So we're going to use the same strategy that we did in the last example, where we're going to see what's going to cause division by 0. Notice I have no radicals here to worry about. So the only thing that I'm going to have an issue with is potentially dividing by 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do is find all the problem cases. I want to figure out what's going to cause division by 0, i.e. the things I can't plug in. But to do that, I say, okay, well, denominator, I'm going to set that equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of algebra. You can do this in one of two ways. You can factor this using a difference of squares, or you can do it how I'm about to do it. Since this is a simple enough quadratic, I note that by adding 1 to both sides, I get x squared is equal to 1. So far, so good. But that implies, that's what this arrow means, implies, that implies x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1. But the square root of 1, as we know, is equal to just 1. So we have plus or minus 1. Okay? So here's a good pro tip. When you're taking square roots of x squared, you have to do plus or minus in order to solve for x effectively, because I could easily plug in minus 1 into this x here to get 1. So that's why we have to say plus or minus square root of 1, or plus or minus 1, because either one of those could be a valid x that makes this guy true. So that's why we have to do plus or minus. Okay? So in these two cases, if x is plus 1 or minus 1, that's going to cause division by 0. So I cannot plug in, plus or minus 1. Okay, so then how do we write the domain in this case? Domain is everything that we can plug in. So how do we write this? Let's just use interval notation this time. We're going to go from minus infinity. What's less, plus or minus 1? In this case, it's minus 1, so we're going to stop at minus 1, pick up at minus 1, not including it, so that's why we're using the round brackets here. And go to 1, not include 1, and then go from 1 to infinity. So we stopped at the places where we're going to get division by 0 and picked up where we left off, not including those things. If you want to use the usual set notation that most mathematicians would use, you say set of all real numbers minus the things that cause problems. Odds are if you're using an online homework system, this is the thing you're going to want to put in. So with that, we are done. We have successfully found the domain of 1 over x squared minus 1.